Hey folks, back with another video. Let's dive into what stories got my attention today. Starting with the Ethiopian Prime Minister, the Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed said on Thursday that the country's military is in the quote-unquote final phase of its operation against fighters in the Tigray region's capital, Mekelle. He told civilians to stay at home, warning that a 72-hour deadline for Tigray People's Liberation Front, the TPLF forces, to put down their weapons had now passed. The Prime Minister vowed that religious and historical sites, institutions, and residential areas would not be targeted. Quote, thousands of Tigray military and special force members have surrendered during the 72 hours ultimatum we provided, Prime Minister Abe said in a Facebook post. Quote, we urge residents of Mekelle to lay down arms, stay indoors, and steer away from military targets, he added, referring to the Tigray capital. The TPLF party, which controls Mekelle, says it will keep fighting. It denied government claims of several of its troops had already surrendered. Hundreds of people have reportedly been killed and thousands have been forced from their homes as Ethiopian forces have seized various towns in Tigray from the TPLF. The TPLF fighters, who are estimated to be as many as 25,000, are drawn mainly from a paramilitary unit and a local militia. The African Union, whose headquarters is based in the Ethiopian capital of Addis Ababa, wants to send 3 representatives to the region to try and mediate an end to the conflict. NGOs believe that fighting could trigger a humanitarian crisis. Several thousand refugees have already fled the conflict. Daniel Bekel, head of the state-appointed Ethiopian Human Rights Commission, said, quote, extreme caution to avoid civilian harm is of even greater importance now at this stage of the conflict, end quote. On Wednesday, Human Rights Watch said both sides must avoid putting civilians in danger. The government's warning did not absolve it of the duty to protect civilians when conducting military operations in the city of Mekelle, the watchdog said. Now, I expect that Ethiopia is going to take a long time to capture the Tigray city of Mekelle. It will naturally be a bloody affair and there will be atrocities committed. However, at this point, the coming atrocities, I believe, are irreversible and nothing can be done practically to stop it. Moving on into the Israeli Defense Minister Benny Gantz has expressed his country's willingness to engage in talks with the Palestinian group Hamas, which controls the besieged Gaza Strip. Following a meeting with the UN's Special Coordinator for the Middle East peace process, Nikolai Miladinov, on Monday, Gantz said Israel was prepared, quote, to arrive at a solution and contribute to improved conditions for the residents of Gaza, end quote, as long as Hamas agrees to the release of Israeli soldiers it has captured. He thanked Miladinov for, quote, helping facilitate the resumption, end quote, of security coordination with President Mahmoud Abbas, Palestinian Authority in the West Bank. Now, there was no immediate comment by Hamas regarding Gantz's Twitter post. The Gaza Strip, which has been under a crippling Israeli blockade since 2007, suffers from acute shortages of food and medicine as well as high levels of unemployment and regular electricity cuts. Hamas currently holds 4 Israeli prisoners, including 2 soldiers it captured during Israel's 2014 war against Gaza. It has demanded the release of some of the thousands of Palestinian prisoners held in Israeli jails in exchange for the release of the detained Israelis. Gantz heads the centrist Blue and White political alliance, which is currently in an uneasy government coalition with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's right-wing Likud party. Now, overall, I welcome the efforts of the Israeli government to engage the opposite side into a dialogue to sort out the various conflicts. I expect that such a path is now more feasible for the Palestinian authorities as well as for the other Arab countries to pursue, and finally end the long conflict that has harmed both the Jews and the Muslims, both domestically and internationally. Moving on into Azerbaijan and Armenia's conflict in the Nagorno-Karabakh region and the broader impact and reactions, the Azerbaijan's parliament called on Thursday for France to be stripped of its mediation role in the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict to punish the French Senate for adopting a resolution backing the region's independence. The French resolution adopted on November 25th followed a Russia-brokered ceasefire. The Azeri parliament urged its government to review ties with Paris and to appeal to the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe to revoke France's role as a co-chair of the so-called Minsk Group set up in 1992 to mediate the conflict. The United States and Russia are the other co-chairs. The Azeri Foreign Ministry said the French Senate resolution, which has no legal force, had tainted France's reputation as a fair mediator and cast doubt on its neutrality. It described the resolution as a provocation and said it was biased. France's Foreign Ministry on Wednesday dismissed the Senate resolution, saying it would contradict France's neutral position and pointing out that even Armenia itself had not recognized Nagorno-Karabakh. Now, of course, it must be mentioned that France's population includes 400 to 600,000 people of Armenian origin. The Azeri parliament urged its government to view ties with Paris and to appeal to the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe to revoke France's role as co-chair. Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan praised the resolution, describing it as a vital first step towards recognizing the right of the region's people to self-determination. The issue of Nagorno-Karabakh region is something that Armenia, Azerbaijan, and the people who live in Nagorno-Karabakh region have to sort out, and no foreign country should take sides on that issue. Now, I think that France can urge the different parties to resolve the issue via dialogue. However, I do think that people from the outside can make a case for one side or the other, but above all, they should push the two countries towards a dialogue. Moving on into Turkey, a court in Ankara has sentenced a total of 337 defendants, the majority of them ex-soldiers, to life in prison on Thursday in one of the largest trials linked to the 2016 failed coup by a Turkish military faction. The trial, which focused on the Akinci air base in Ankara, which is alleged to be the center of the coup, started in 2017. The final hearing concluded under heavy security measures at Ankara's Sincan courthouse. A total of 475 defendants were on trial, 365 of them in jail. Out of 337 life sentences given, including pilots and commanders, 291 were aggravated life sentences, state news agency Anadolu reported. Among them were 4 civilian ringleaders. 60 people, including pilots and commanders, were given varying jail sentences up to more than 18 years. The court acquitted 70 defendants of all charges. Aggravated life sentences are the most severe terms possible in Turkey since it abolished the death penalty in 2002, as there is no chance for parole. The charges range from murder to attempt to overthrow constitutional order and attempt to assassinate the president, among others. The abortive coup in July 2016 left more than 250 people dead across Turkey. Facing trial in absentia is Fatehullah Gulen, the US-based cleric the government blames for orchestrating the coup, though he denies the charges. The court ruled to continue trial for 6 defendants, including Gulen. A strict state of emergency followed the coup that saw more than 100,000 purged from their government jobs. A total of 96,000 people have been arrested over alleged links to Gulen so far. Interior Minister Suleiman Soylu said on Thursday, according to Anadolu. Now, several trials related to the coup are still ongoing in Turkey. President Erdogan, in my opinion, is using Turkish institutions to solidify his grip on power. I believe Turkey is headed for a difficult time, and so far Erdogan has not done anything that addresses the actual issues of the Turkish people. Erdogan has done everything to divert the attention of the Turkish people away from the domestic issues, but I believe there is only so much time, there's only so much the people can tolerate before these diversions will be seen for what they are. And then Erdogan will have put himself in the corner where he would have to finally come to head and either address the issue or will have to leave the office. Moving on into the Burkina Faso and their election, President Roch-Marc Christian Kabore will serve another 5 years as Burkina Faso's president, according to provisional results announced by the National Independent Electoral Commission on Thursday. Kabore won with with nearly 58% of the vote, beating 12 opponents and claiming victory in the first round, said Newton Ahmed Barry, the Commission's president. Kabore received 1.6 million votes of the nearly 3 million cast, with voter turnout at 50%, he said. The opposition had hoped to split the vote and deprive Kabore of the 51% needed for an outright victory, and then form a coalition behind the strongest candidate for round two. But leading candidate Eddie Komboigo, head of the Congress for Democracy and Progress, received 15%, and the other leading rival, Zephyrin Diabre from the Progress and Change Party, who lost to Kabore in 2015, received approximately 12%. The declaration comes 4 days after Sunday's election. The Election Commission president said final results should be out Saturday, which then must be verified by the Constitutional Court. In an address to the nation after results were announced, an upbeat Kabore praised the democratic process, congratulated his opponents, and promised to secure and unite the country. Naturally, the opposition has accused the ruling party of foul play, including bribing people. The process was, quote, riddled with fraud, end quote, and the Electoral Commission was not up to the task for organizing responsible elections, Tahiro Barry, an opposition candidate, told a press conference. While there were some reports of irregularities, such as in the East, where approximately 30 people voted on fake ballots because no ballot paper was available, it wasn't widespread, said Halido Udrago, president of CODEL, a local organization monitoring the election. The opposition has 7 days to appeal the vote, and it was not immediately clear if they would. The African Union and the Economic Community for West African States, a regional blog, said appeals should be made through legal avenues in a, quote, calm environment and especially to avoid violence, end quote, said Makuza Bernard, who led the AU delegation. Quote, we don't need violence. The Burkinabé don't need that, end quote, he said. Now, the elections were held amid violence linked to Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State group that has killed more than 2,000 people this year and displaced more than 1 million people. Many of the communities unable to vote were already marginalized, and civil society organizations say the president will need to work harder in his second term to unite an increasingly divided country. As Kabore's supporters celebrated, opposition supporters said they will accept the results but expect the opposition to hold the ruling party accountable. It seems that President Kapore has won with a resounding victory based on the results, and I congratulate him, and I hope that he will rule to better his country, and I wish him all the luck, as well as I hope that the opposition holds his feet to the fire while during his reign. Well, that's it for this video. If you liked the video, then hit that like button and hit that subscribe button for future updates. Write in the comment sections your thoughts, your criticisms, and anything I might have missed. And I will see you in the next video.